Training question. As an athlete that is 45 years old.
Hold on. Who are you, dude?
All right. I'm Carl. You're Taylor.
Yeah, I know.
You're supposed to be like Carl.
What are you representing, Carl?
All right.
Taylor. No cuts, just keep going.
Fine.
I'll cut
Start.
it out myself later.
But it was like an athletic question. Okay, fine. I'm Carl from HDR CBD. I'm here with the head coaches of Sentinel Training, Taylor, Bryson.
What's your name?
Bryson.
Okay, and I have a couple of training questions for these gentlemen right here. One being, as myself, being a 45-year-old athlete.
You're 45. I thought you were 49. What are you?
45.
Okay. All right.
45.
I was wrong.
Don't add years. Fucking distracting me. All right, as a 45-year-old athlete who's someone that needs to gain strength, get stronger in order to do better in competitive workouts, my question for both of you guys is, with strength being the focus for me, why are we doing metabolic conditioning or a high intensity WOD, such as this morning, like 50 burpees, 50 calories on the Echo bike, and doing that prior to strength training? And am I still going to be able to get stronger by doing that? Or do I need to seriously cut back on cardio work and just focus on strength?
I have a couple answers to that. One, when you're being tested in CrossFit, generally speaking, most recently, when have the strength tests presented themselves? Not rested. Like we haven't seen rested 1 rep maxes really in the past 2 years of competition, for example. The snatch at semifinals was a run snatch. Mm-hmm. Last year, this year, the tested strength was definitely under fatigue with the snatch ladder. So there's one reason to train strength after conditioning, is because a lot of times it's tested out of breath. It's tested under fatigue. To gain strength, I'm not arguing that that's a better way to gain strength, but it's something that you should be prepared for. Another argument for training strength or doing your lifting after a workout or getting out of breath is that you're way more adequately warmed up and primed to perform heavy weights. That's a very strong argument, and one that I feel I like that a lot. I don't always like it. I don't think there's a place in CrossFit for only doing one thing one way. So like I like sometimes lifting under fatigue. I like sometimes lifting after a workout. I like sometimes going and lifting fresh. We're about to go in and do a split jerk session, not after doing a workout. It's just split jerks. If you're prioritizing your strength gain, like you need to prioritize strength, that probably means twice a week you need to do your strength sessions first. I don't think you should only do all of your strength sessions first, but I think that's great. You just also have to be very, very deliberate about actually getting your heart rate up, actually getting your core temperature up in a warm-up before you strength train. That just because you're not doing a workout before, like a critical part of a warm-up is increasing core temperature, taking your joints through a full range of motion, getting your heart rate up. Those need to happen regardless of when you lift. But a lot of people miss that. So people who aren't like, oh, I want to be competitive, I just want to get stronger. You can get stronger training strength after a workout, and it's much more effective for some people because they'll actually warm up doing a workout. Mm-hmm. They won't warm up if you just say, hey, 5x5 back squat. They'll go in cold and they'll rip an adductor or something, or you know what I mean?
Or the first 3 sets that are supposed to be all working sets aren't actually working
They're
sets.
waste.
They're warm-up sets. You're not getting what you could out of that if you did a workout first. And then especially for someone like you're saying, 45 years old, doing a workout first is a great way to get warmed up. That's the first train of thought I have. But then also the fact that strength doesn't get tested a lot fresh in CrossFit, especially not recently.
All right, but you guys keep saying that about the test, but I'm not saying about the test, but isn't building foundational strength first prior to... You have to have the foundational strength. For example, at the semifinals workout, you have to have the foundational strength to do all those clean and jerks prior to doing those clean and jerks with an elevated heart rate.
Yeah. I think the problem that the most generally accepted way to approach strength training, even in CrossFit, is cut the CrossFit back, cut the conditioning back. We need to lift heavy weights under no fatigue. I disagree with that because one, on the pyramid, it's nutrition, metabolic conditioning, body weight strength, then external loading strength. So how strong are you with your body weight? The best way to develop upper body strength, bar none, is not with external loading. It's with body weight exercises. Rope climbs, strict pull-ups, dips, strict muscle-ups. All of that should by far be a priority. If your pressing is weak, you should be doing body weight strength. A ton of it. I've had 2 games level athletes, women, PR split jerks, to hit 275 split jerks, which is like equivalent near to like a 405 jerk for men, not doing any split jerks in a 3-month stretch and only doing weighted dips, weighted pull-ups, weighted upper body training. And they got crazy upper body strength. And these girls had really strong legs. They were squatting a lot. You have to have strong legs to have a big jerk. But upper body strength is, it's the hierarchy of development is like, okay, upper body is body weight exercises, dips, pull-ups, rope climbs, presses, handstand work. To develop upper body and trunk strength, body weight exercises. To develop hip power, lower body strength, speed, that's weightlifting. Like hip extension, speed, power, lower body strength, weightlifting all day for sure.
You're also asking the question, like it seems like it's coming from in a way that you're thinking, okay, well, if I do echo bike and burpees before I do, front squats or whatever it is, then I'm not getting strength training out of it. I'm only getting better at lifting tired, which isn't true. You are getting a lot of strength training out of it. For some people, like we're saying, it could be just as much, if not more. For me, I don't lift as heavy if I lift fresh, but I still have to do it because constantly vary. You can't just get roped into doing the same thing all the time. But it's not like just because you get out of breath first means you're not developing that base strength that you're talking about, the foundational strength you're talking about.
I also think that they're, to your argument or to your point, they're, one, getting stronger. This is also like the challenging truth that like not a lot of people want to accept. It's going to take different amounts of time for different people. Some people genetically have a crazy predisposition to being strong, and they can strength train a little bit or over a short period of time, and they're crazy strong. Other people, the length of their limbs, age, genetics, whatever, it's just going to take some people longer than others, and some people may never be able to lift as heavy as other people. In CrossFit, it's like, it's always this thing where like I hear people, I'm like, I'm 155, I got to put on weight, and I'm like, well, if you're 155 and you're trying that hard to put on weight, it's going to be really hard for you to be, as strong as you want to be. Maybe you need to hit home runs where you can naturally hit home runs.
Also, like CrossFit workouts develop your strength as well. You pressed off the floor 150 times today. That developed your pressing strength. Like just because the main limiter on your burpees was the fact that your heart rate was through the roof and you were breathing hard, doesn't mean you didn't develop strength doing that workout.
Yeah, and the other thing about it is, are you truly good enough at metabolic conditioning and your gymnastic stuff to say, hey, strength is the main priority, so much so that if you prioritize strength to the degree that you feel like you need to and you lose a little bit in those other areas, like, are you good enough at those other areas to afford to lose? Or is it more appropriate to take a more sustainable approach to all of it and increase slowly at all of it? Because the strength's going to be slow regardless. The gymnastics, and this is the last part that I need to touch on. The gymnastics skill of muscle ups, skill of rope climbs, skill of bar muscle ups, that's something that can come very quickly. Once it clicks for you and you have the neuromuscular connection or the understanding of how to use your body efficiently, it's like boom, click, and all of a sudden you go from 3 reps in a row to 15. But the same thing goes for strength training too. How you squat, how you snatch, how you clean and jerk, especially with the Olympic lifts, understanding how to move your body efficiently can allow you to put 20 pounds on a lift when you're not gaining any true muscle mass or contractile capacity. Like you've just become more efficient. So people focus, I just need to squat more. Well, what if you were a more efficient squatter? Or what if you had better technique in your split jerk? What if you had better technique in your snatch? Then you put on 50 pounds like that.
True.
So that's the lowest hanging fruit is technique and skill. The highest fruit is actual muscle mass and strength potential.
Okay. All of this kind of does lead me to another question about Sentinel, because I know you and the way you program is you hate repeating things. you hate repeating things, but something I struggle with is handstand push-ups. And I know you like to program different things all the time, but why would I not do handstand push-ups for like 6 weeks in a row and then go to another skill?
Compete does handstand push-ups every week.
You should do handstand push-ups every week. That doesn't mean you have to do 5 by 10 or a workout with 5 rounds of 10 handstand push-ups every week.
If you are just trying to be fit for life, like you care about getting better at the open, you want to be fit for life, you want general physical preparedness, 60 track's the way to go. And we're thinking about renaming it because I hate like 60 gives it this like negative connotation that it's like watered down or like, you know what I mean? I don't like that. But that track is an hour workout. It's essentially like your class workout for an experienced CrossFitter that wants devastating fitness. So it's super constantly varied, classic CrossFit. There's still some strength progressions, still some gymnastic skill work, but you're not doing handstand push-ups every week. So you do handstand push-up this week, then ring muscle up the next week, then maybe a pistol squat the next week, and you snatch this week, and then you do a power snatch the following week, and you do a squat clean the next week. So there's like a lot of good variance. So you're touching a lot of things. It's not meant for competitors. It's meant for, hey, I want to be as fit as possible, and I want to do CrossFit. And that's amazing. The compete track, they do handstand push-ups every week. They do ring muscle-ups every week. They do handstand walks every week. They do bar muscle-ups every week. That's like, yeah, there are things you should be doing every week, but you don't need to do them the same exact way. So on one week, it may be like in a workout, you have 5 rounds of 7 muscle-ups. The next week, it might be ring complexes. 1 ring muscle-up plus 1 dip for 5 reps in a workout or whatever. But you're touching those skills every week in the compete track.
Okay.
So if you want to compete, you should for sure be sharpening those skills consistently.
The other question that I was thinking about today, because of knee issues, running all the time can be an issue. Can some of that be changed to swimming at a higher intensity and swimming with a purpose?
Swimming's not going to make you better at running, but what surface do you typically run on? Road? Sidewalk?
Road, sidewalk.
You should only run on a trail on like paths. Like go to dirt paths, gravel paths, trail running. Not like true hike trail running, but like a bike path, for example, that's gravel or dirt like we ran on. That's going to be way better on your knees. The difference, or a track.
But something like that Sentinel workout with the burpees and the swim, and that's elevated heart rate.
It's not going to make you better at running.
It's not going to make you better at running in a workout.
You'll have better aerobic conditioning and capacity swimming, but it's not going to improve your running. That's another misconception. Like running is just as technique driven as any skill. And your ability to carry forward energy and momentum while expending as little energy as possible is the difference between someone who can run a 4-minute mile and someone who runs a 5.5-minute mile. Like efficiency moving your body, and you're not going to learn how to run
Without running.
Okay. You could do standing bike erg, that has a little transfer of skill. You could run on a curved treadmill, and that's easier on your joints. But I think the best thing for running is running. Technique work for sure. There are drills you can do. And the best running on your joints is for sure, I would say, on like a path, like a dirt path, a bike path. Track is easier on your joints for sure. Stop running on the road. You don't need to. I don't really ever run on the. I run on the road like maybe 2 or 3 times a month. All of my other running I'm doing at this
on the path the
park
other day.
by the gym, and I like because I've had 5 knee surgeries from the ACL issues, and my run I don't have any pain running. It feels amazing. Maybe I will in 10 years, but for now I'm good.
Those were the training questions I had.
One more thing I want to say, touching on the second question. Strength is the productive application of force. So improving your back squat technique, like Taylor said, and putting 50 pounds in your back squat that way is still getting stronger. Even if you didn't improve your muscles' ability to contract, you still got stronger. If you improve your snatch technique and maybe your ability to contract your muscles even gets worse, but you add 20 pounds to your snatch, you got stronger in the snatch. So, and it's the same thing with the ring muscle up, anything like that. I just want to clarify that is still getting stronger by improving technique. That's strength training as well.
Do you take creatine?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I understand what you were saying also about the 5x5, but also 5x5 could also, it means 5x5 working sets. So those warm-up sets, if you're getting warm, don't really count as sets.
Right, but what he was saying is some people will see a 5x5 and they start fresh. They're not starting as heavy as they should start. Like for me, like after we did those that wall ball workout, I was a lot more primed. I felt like to squat at meaningful weights than I would have been had I gone into that cold. It would have taken me way longer to warm up.
Okay.
We would have either taken longer to warm up or started lighter.
Yeah. Which is not always the case, and I'm not saying that's how it should be, but do you have 45 minutes to properly warm up and potentiate for lifting? I fucking don't. And for people who do, that's probably the best way to do it. For sure, I don't. A lot of people don't. Olympic weightlifters should have that time because that's their job. Pro games athletes, that's your job. Athlete is not my job. So I just got to do what you can with what you have, you know.
Makes sense to me.
But I by no means am I saying there's no place for progressive overload and strength cycles. We use them in Sentinel. We do 4-week cycles, 1 week back off for 35 out of the 52 weeks in the year. And then starting around mid-December, we start open prep, which is like you're still doing lifting every day, but it's different every week. You're not repeating the same thing on each day, each week. It's like actually different every week. And the formats become way closer to like what you would expect to see in the open or in quarterfinals. But you're doing that after 35 weeks of strength cycles to prepare you for that period. But the strength cycles that we do are short enough and varied enough to where you still get a lot of transfer of skill. You still get a lot of the benefits of CrossFit by doing something different slightly each week while having similar benefits of progressive overload in a structured strength cycle. So it's not as monotonous as like Wendler 531 or even like undulating squat sets. And definitely not as long as some. Even like a Smolov Junior is like what, 8 weeks or 6 weeks? 8 weeks?
4 weeks is the junior.
Junior, okay. But so they're short. This is always 4 weeks. But you're still squatting every week and pulling from the floor every week and pressing in some way every week. So like that transfer of skill that CrossFit is reliant on, you're still experiencing that. But for example, our next cycle on Mondays, we're going to have like a deadlift strict press superset. And on week 1, it's every 2 minutes for 10 sets, 7 deadlifts, 7 strict press. Week 2, every 90 seconds for 10 sets, 5. Week 3, every minute for 15 sets, 3 and 3. And the last week, it becomes the most dense. It's every 30 seconds for 10 minutes. So 20 sets, 1 deadlift, 1 strict press. And you're still increasing weight while building the capacity to do those things under fatigue because the session's getting denser and denser and denser. You're going to feel like you're lifting under more and more and more fatigue, but the volume's also going down to account for that, so you can see a progression in weight. And then on Fridays, we have like a hang squat snatch, hang squat clean EMOM that the reps are going to come down each week, but it's like basically an alternating EMOM between higher volume of hang snatches, hang squat cleans, etc. So it's, you know, the deadlift the deadlift strict press is varied in the sense that the repetition range is varying, but also the time domains are varying. But the movements aren't. We have back squat, front squat session that's varying in not time domains, but rep ranges and pauses. So pause schemes varies over 4 weeks. And then Wednesday is split jerks, and it's like a jerk complex. So that'll vary between like starting with split jerks with a pause and finishing with push jerks, or starting with push jerks, no pause, and finishing with split jerks. Rep range and like order of movements are varying. So we just play with little things like that so people can still, hey, I'm still doing split jerks and getting better at them, right, but it's different than the previous week.
And I think with 4 week cycles, while also doing varied CrossFit workouts every day between these cycles and everything, you could leave one cycle that's a 4 week deadlift cycle, and it doesn't feel like you haven't back squatted in forever. I mean, this coming cycle, we're back squatting and deadlifting the same one, but even if we weren't, it doesn't feel like you haven't back squatted in forever. You probably did it in a workout, or maybe did it in a different session. And then when you go into a back squat cycle next time, you don't feel like you haven't back squatted in forever, or your back squat's super weak. Yeah, if you wanted to add every last pound and kilo to your snatch that you could, do a 12-week snatch cycle, but your deadlift and your back squat are going to suck after that. And then it takes forever to build that back up. If you're just competing in Olympic weightlifting, you need to snatch and clean and jerk as much as you can, do that. But for life and for competing in CrossFit, everything has to stay up. We can't afford to spend 12 weeks on our snatch and not think about our deadlift.
And with general people, you get a lot more buy-in and almost effort and efficacy of your program that way because you're not getting bored.
Yeah, it's also way more fun.
Like a lot of people they say they want to commit to a strength cycle, then they get 5 weeks into that, 8 weeks, and they're like, fuck, I don't want to go and squat again today. You know what I mean? Like it just gets grindy, and there's still an element of that I feel like is still almost too much with the 4 week varied cycle that changes from week to week. But it's the best we feel we can do with our creativity to keep people engaged and having fun, and it's a short enough period of time. You know, if you think about it, like, okay, I've only done that jerk complex 4 times over a month. Like, it's not that crazy amount of, like, it's not super repetitive.
It's different enough that it keeps it fresh when you do it, but also similar enough that you feel like you're on a progression.
And improving.
Yeah, and improving. And I think 4 weeks is the sweet spot where it's like, oh, I did that last week and it felt pretty good. When I finished, that kind of surprised me. The reps are down this week. The pause is gone. The RPE's up. Like, I'm going to crush this one. Right. And then you're 4 weeks in and you're almost kind of sad that it's over already. But if it was, you know, a little bit longer than that, you'd probably start to get into that monotonous boredom of training.
So about like also improving single movements, I do have another question. Are you a big fan of EMOM training? Like handstand push-ups, 8 minutes, 2 every minute, on the minute for 8 minutes, next week, 3, 4, 5.
I used to do a ton of that. Like I can't probably...
So for me, getting ring muscle-ups back.
Yeah, for sure. You should be doing that, yeah.
So...
And it doesn't even necessarily have to be on EMOMs. That's a great structure to hold you accountable to a time domain and a rest period and a certain amount of volume. But you should be practicing them every week, maybe even twice a week. EMOM is a great way to do it. That's what I have always done. I used to do EMOMs of strict handstand push-ups, butterfly chest to bar, ring muscle-ups, handstand walking, toes to bar, all of those gymnastic skills. I mean, even barbell cycling, touch and go snatches, clean and jerks, etc. EMOM training is great for building like your capacity for volume. Very, very good, yeah. But again, if that's specific to you, we can't write that on a GPP program. I know. But you as a competitor have to know, hey, this is a weakness of mine. I need to do this once or twice a week.
That gets back to like the program is a template. It's not programmed for any one individual. It's programmed for...
It's the best general program for everyone, period.
But it's not programmed to anyone in particular's specific weakness.
Right. You would imagine that program would be 100% perfect for an athlete who is balanced across the field. They would increase everything equally and get better at everything equally and increase their fitness across the board with everything equally.
It's a hypothetical athlete who is just straight across.
Right.
But I mean, and it's not programmed for anyone individually, because if it was, it probably would be Taylor. But when he was still like recovering from his knee surgery, like plenty of workouts he couldn't do, or days he couldn't do, even that had more than one squat in a day.
Yeah.
So it's just not built for any one person, but it's built for the hypothetical person who just needs everything to come up all together.
And it shouldn't be. Look at Matt and Tia.
Right.
If you put them across the board, they're like on a video game scale. They're like 99, 99, 99, 94, 99, 91, 94, 99. Everyone else is like 70, 100, 62. You don't want to be that athlete in CrossFit. You want to be 99s across the fucking board. So programming for the ideal athlete to increase everything on a general track that you can distribute to anyone, it needs to be that perfectly even. And then you specifically, we not only do we want to create the fittest athletes, but we need the most educated, self-aware athletes, because if you are educated and self-aware, you're going to get fitter at a faster rate than other people around you, because you're smart about what you need, how much you need, and what's realistic for you and what's not. People who don't have those attributes, they're not educated and they're not self-aware, they don't get fit and they get hurt. So you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that idiot that drives himself into the ground, but you also want to be the person that's like, yeah, I'm awesome at ring muscle ups, and then you get clapped in a ring muscle up workout. You're like, no, you're not. So you have to be, we want not only a general program that can be applied to everyone, but we also want we want to educate people as much as possible so that they have the tools necessary to make themselves fitter, to make decisions that make you fitter.
So part of the self-awareness would include knowing how your body feels and
For sure.
not just blindly following the program.
And that's
if
why we
you're,
do RPE. That's another reason we do RPE for that. That's a big reason for me. Is like I found a lot of times in my training where it was percentage based. I'm like, dude, I just can't hit these percentages today. And either two things happen. If you're like there is a third option. And the third option is the rational option. The third option is I can't hit this percentage today. It's all good. I did a lot. But most athletes don't feel that. They feel I can't hit this percentage today. I'm not strong enough. It's not going well. I suck. Or I'm going to try to and fuck myself up doing it. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think that's also what's so important about the stuff we put on YouTube, the Instagram stuff, getting people educated, and even a small insight to why something is programmed on Sentinel. Even if they saw a video that we posted 2 weeks ago, but it lets them look at tomorrow's training a little bit differently, and they're like, hey, I just heard Taylor and Bryson talk about intensity driving results, but every time I do workout 2 on Compete, I just end up walking through it. Maybe I need to dial it back a little bit. Maybe I just need to chill out, not do
There
workout
is
2.
a lot more of that now on the channel, the why and the explanation, like the around the whiteboard video explains a lot of the why, not just we're doing this workout. It's why are we doing this?
It's important.
We probably need to do more sessions videos.
Yeah.
We haven't done one of those
Sessions
in a while.
videos are a
Those-
good,
yeah.
great example.
Where we write at the whiteboard and talk about why we're doing this, why we're doing that. Yeah.
And especially now that there's a log of that, you can go back and see.
Yeah.
Let's do one tomorrow. Let's do. Hey, let's bring you have your camera with you. Let's go to the gym tonight and let's write out tomorrow's programming and talk about it, and then we can get some rough footage of us doing it.
Okay.
Where's this video gonna go? This needs to go on our YouTube.
That's really
Okay.
what it, I mean. My
It'll give
questions
you-
were for
it'll
you
give
for
you-
Sentinel because
right.
I wanted them answered for myself.
But also, now that you guys are watching the video, I got this crazy shit right here. I'm just gonna do a promo. Homegrown Relief CBD. I literally do not endorse anything. I'm not a sponsored athlete really by anyone. And there's a reason for that. I hate posting shit and talking about it because all the products I like to use and talk about, the owners are douchebags or they won't pay me. Carl's not a douchebag. I love Carl, but I also actually use this like every single day. I've had like 5 knee surgeries. So every day, like it's important for me to mobilize scar tissue on my knee. So I use this to do that. It feels amazing. It's like the cleanest products you could possibly have. The ingredients are 99% CBD crystalline.
There's a lot on there.
I'm going to read them. Organic raw shea butter, organic peppermint, organic raw cocoa butter, organic beeswax. I love beeswax and stuff. That's always the best for any times I've had like rips and I put beeswax, any stuff with beeswax in it, I feel like it heals the fastest. Grapeseed oil, Roman, chamomile, arrowroot, wintergreen, organic spearmint, organic lavender, organic clove. Like that's the ingredients. That's it. That's crazy. You're not going to find anything cleaner. Go to their website, buy some of this shit. The Recover Muscle and Joint Salve. I use it so much. I hope you brought some extra to leave.
We
with me.
did. And I'll tell you, the reason why this works well with you doing something like that is because it's authentic.
Yeah, people
and
know.
because, just to be fair, why he doesn't have sponsorships, and I don't want to speak for you, is because you'd be totally incapable.
Of
For
being
example,
fake.
if Noble gave you $100,000, you'd be in breach of contract in 2 days.
Yeah. I would be in breach of contract for sure, but it's all good. I don't want that money. That's why I started Sentinel, because I wanted to be self-sufficient. And I'm just stoked about meeting other people that we align in values and like goals. And so it's pretty sick to have some of this.
Yeah, I don't.
And I don't want any more free shit. I want to start paying you for it also. So I'm gonna buy this from you.
I mean, the
That's my
best way to
favorite
support a business is going to the website
And
and
paying.
buying something,
Right.
not DMing us and asking us for
Free shit.
Right.
Right. I'm gonna pay you for that.
This is my favorite product of Carl's. This is the Relief Stick.
It's the suppository.
Yeah, just straight up there. No, but this one I use before training a lot. I use the Recover Salve at night a lot before I go to bed. I haven't had any knee surgeries or anything like that, but just when you have like aches and pains and stuff like that, this gets you feeling good right away for training. I use it on my elbows and my back, just depending on what we're doing. But that's definitely my favorite. I also like that a lot.
And I think it aligns with all the training and the program with all that, because recovery is a big part of it. You can't just go to the gym and blast yourself every day and not recover. It's not going to go well for you if you take that
Sleep's
approach.
the biggest thing for recover. Sometimes I need to talk to you about the CBD sleep stuff and how to use it properly and like what I need to.
Well, it's all natural herbs. Organic MCT oil is the carrier. Valerian root, is natural. It helps calm the body down. Non-narcotic, non-pharmaceutical.
Okay. I
You ready
take that.
to
Yeah, I
do
have
some
some.
split jerks?
Yeah, let's go. We're gonna do some split jerks. We're gonna go
Let's
heavy.
go do- all right.
So.